We have protests that are occurring around the country as people are really, really getting to a point of near despair over the economy that has been shuttered. We got concerns about people's health. We have over 40,000 deaths in America that have happened, let's face it, very quickly over just a period of a number of weeks. 759,000 cases of coronavirus confirmed around America. I feel very good about this week. I don't know. My gut usually is pretty right, and I've got a hunch. The president is faulted for some of his hunches. You know, we can't decide things based on hunch, but I feel pretty good about getting closer to finally an agreement between these stubborn Democrats who seem to want to politicize this coronavirus aid package, layering in more things. It was a clean bill. All they wanted to do was replenish the fund that has run out, and businesses are hanging on for dear life. There are businesses, employees, people who are very, very close to, if not at a point of despair, desperation, and they need help. They need assistance. But, you know, through this fog and haze of this insane thing that the world is going through, and let's remember, this is a worldwide disaster, not just here in the United States. There's nowhere to go. There's no way to sort of escape, if you will. We've got to be smart. We have to be safe. We have to rely on solid, clear voices, and we've got to be responsible. We've got to be responsible. We try to give you the tools every day. People are wondering about their stimulus money, their economic recovery money. I want to remind you that if you text the keyword cash to 1-800-655-6453, we will send you back the IRS link that gives you the opportunity to find out what the status is of your payment, whether it's $1,200 as an individual. And incidentally, I've heard from people who had no idea that they would get any kind of money at all. They hadn't filed taxes in 2019 or for 2018, rather. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of people that are getting money that didn't think they were going to be eligible. Listen. The well has run dry right now for small businesses. I'm hoping and praying that the Republicans and Democrats can get together and get that fixed quickly, because every hour of every day that passes, it's becoming dire for many, many businesses. But in terms of individuals, you can send again all you have to do is text the word cash to 1-800-655-6453, which is, of course, the MyPillow text line. Somebody just sent me a text. I'm saying replenish, and it's really replenish. No T. Thank you. Thank you, Karen, for straightening me, for correcting me. Replenish, not replenish. It's already Monday, and we're ready to go. We're in the ReliefFactor.com studios, back in my kitchen again, working from home, isolating, trying to stay focused on this show 24/7, and our team works round the clock to try to get you as much accurate information with lots of passion, plenty of opinions. You know right where I am, and I've got an opinion that Dan Crenshaw is emerging through this crisis as a very, very impressive voice of leadership. The congressman from Texas, who is, of course, a battle veteran. He served his country admirably and, of course, was seriously injured. He is a guy who went one-on-one with Bill Maher, and what he said to Bill Maher over the weekend, I think, is something you need to hear. I want to play it for you so you can see what all the excitement and all the buzz is about. Bill Maher, incidentally, pointing out, Bill Maher is a leftist guy. He's a libertarian, doesn't agree with people of faith, doesn't understand faith, doesn't like organized religion, but he has an ability to go rogue from that politically correct mindset that can get our attention. And I'm very, very impressed by a couple of things that came out of his show. And of course, he's working from home, so he doesn't have the audience, he doesn't have the laugh track, he doesn't have the support of the people who agree with him to try to shame his guests. And I think Congressman Dan Crenshaw uh, came out of this exchange in an extraordinary way. I want to play it for you. Maher also said we better stop shaming hope, better stop the hope shaming. And one thing that has been a constant theme is President Trump's optimistic, hopeful spirit has been denigrated by the left and mocked and frankly taunted by some of these reporters in the White House briefing room, press briefing room. And you know what? Um, as Maher pointed out, great leaders exhibit hope. What would FDR have been without hope? What would have Ronald Reagan been without hope? And every single day, it's an important message. Before we get to the Crenshaw exchange, I do want to play this for you. Here's cut number 9. Here's Bill Maher on his HBO show Real Time. Rather than wallow in the panic coverage of COVID-19, you got to acknowledge that when the president exhibits and exudes a spirit of hope and optimism, that's a good thing.
Now that we're starting to see some hope in all this, don't hope shame me. You know, the problem with nonstop gloom and doom is it gives Trump the chance to play the optimist. And optimists tend to win American elections. FDR said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. You know, as full of shit as he is, I could see Trump riding that into a second term. And then there will be no hope left for you to shame. So, look, if this insanity happens again, news sources have to rein it in. Everyone knows Corona is no walk in the park, because you literally can't walk in the park. But at some point, the daily drumbeat of depression and terror veers into panic porn. Enough with the life will never be the same headlines. And stop showing us this. You know, everything looks scary when you magnify it 1,000 times. Here's a pubic hair. Boo! Last month, the Washington Post ran the headline, "It feels like a war zone," with this picture. This is not a war zone. This is a man with a box of eggs. And I've never seen a war zone with this much bacon. Or how about this one? Horrifying simulation reveals the dangers of jogging during the coronavirus pandemic. Look, this virus is easy to catch, but if you can't avoid it jogging, you can't outrun much. 2 weeks ago, Inside Edition said 76,000 in the world had died, so some are making comparisons to the apocalypse. The apocalypse? Really? Because most of us are sitting at home smoking delivery weed and binge-watching a show about a gay zookeeper. Unless you're a frontline healthcare worker for whom the phrase above and beyond the call of duty doesn't even begin to cover it, this is not the apocalypse.
You know, again, not a man I agree with very often, but I truly appreciate that message. Perspective. Yes, it's a deadly virus, and yes, people have died terrible deaths. We're over 40,000. The latest model, incidentally, looks like the extended models say 60,000 deaths. That's bad. And I'm sorry, you can't ignore the dramatic mitigation that we've done as part of that equation. The president believes it. I agree with him. The president believes that the social distancing and the staying at home has flattened the curve and has made this thing not be the disastrous outcome it could have been. But ultimately, we still have to understand what perspective feels like. And frankly, sometimes it comes from unlikely sources. In that case, Bill Maher.